Do you have sad, depressing lighting in your basement, like these fluorescent fixtures right here? These are just a terrible choice for residential lighting. They're kind of ugly. The tubes don't last very long. They lose their brightness after a short period of time. You're having to constantly replace them. They're not very efficient. They don't give off a tremendous amount of light anyway. The whole thing's ugly. And sometimes these make kind of a humming or a buzzing noise. It's just a bad idea for a living space or a home. These really belong more in maybe a garage, a workshop, a store maybe, but not inside a house. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to fix that today, and hopefully I don't burn the house down. This is going to get ugly. But before we get started, before you do any kind of electrical wiring, you of course need to shut the power off to the circuit that the lights are on. You'll do that at your circuit panel. I have other videos that show you how to do that. You can check out the electrical playlist right up here, or here, I don't know, it's on the screen somewhere, just click it if you want to learn more about some tips and tricks about doing electrical wiring and lighting. So one of the problems when you're doing lighting in a basement, especially if you have low ceilings like this, is clearance. See, I'm 6 foot tall and I'm almost hitting my head on this fluorescent light fixture here. And that's really an issue because you can't install standard ceiling lights that hang down at all. I mean, these fluorescent light fixtures are just a few inches deep. And if you go any lower than that, even an average or a slightly above average height person, it's going to be hitting their head on them. And that's just not an option. The only other option that you really have is recessed lighting, but there's another challenge there too. I'm in a basement, there's a floor above me, and standard recessed lighting requires you to install basically like a bracket in the framing above that holds the recessed lighting. But there's a floor above me, so I don't really have good access to that to install those brackets. You can buy retrofit recessed can light housings that don't need to be attached to the framing, but still it's this big clunky contraption, and you'll still need the trim piece and a light bulb. And even then you could run into clearance issues in some situations. Who wants to deal with all that nonsense? So what do? Well, I have the answer right here. These are low profile recessed lights. I picked these particular ones up at Home Depot. I'll leave a link down in the description if you want to check them out. But let me show you what they look like here and why they're better than standard can lights. So the entire light fixture is just this. See how thin that is? You don't need that bracket to install them into. All you have to do is cut a hole, run your wiring, and then these little spring-loaded tabs hold it in place, and then that's it, you're done. Besides being incredibly easy to install, these offer a couple additional features over standard can lights as well. You can actually adjust the color temperature on these lights if you want it more of a kind of a soft warm light or a more of a bright white light. There's some adjustability there so you can get the exact lighting that you need. They're also dimmable too if you want to put a dimmer switch so you can set the mood. Got the power off, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this light, pull it down, and then take a look and see what I have to work with. The idea is to try to put 4 can lights in this room, and I'm going to put 2 in the kitchen area, 2 over in the, I guess what would be the dining area, and there's a kind of a little office or bedroom over here. I'm going to put, I think, 4 in there. I haven't determined exactly where I'm going to put these yet, and I kind of want to put a light here, a light here, a light here, and a light here. But the first thing I need to do is just pull this down, take a look and see what I'm working with, and then I can design the layout after that. So let's pull this thing down. Wow, those did not want to come out. That's another good thing. I don't have to deal with changing these stupid tubes out every so often. Wow. Bad for the environment too. I think these contain mercury, so you need to dispose of them properly. Don't just dump them in the trash. I mentioned earlier that just about the only place fluorescent fixtures like this belong is in a garage. That's exactly what I'm going to do with these, put them in the garage. But I'm not doing fluorescent lighting. They actually make LED tubes that can go into these fixtures. And with these new style of LED tubes, just go direct 120 volt into them. Basically bypass the ballast in an existing fixture. You're good to go. So, let's pull this thing off the wall. I mean, the ceiling. Oops. Small dent in the ceiling, no big deal. Okay, and just to play it safe, even though I have the power off, it's just a good idea to put a couple wire nuts on the end of these just in case you forget or you have to finish later. Don't start a fire or shock yourself. Okay, so I think I figured out what I want to do, and let me show you. I've got one kind of benefit here is right there. There is a chase built for some of the heating and ducting, which will allow me to run some wires that way or this way. I can put them wherever I want and then just go down in between whatever joists I want to go through. And so for layout, I think basically what I'm going to do is just divide the room equally, or divide the lights equally. Have them come in this way equally, and side to side, so I have 4 nice even light in here. And I think that will work. What I'll probably end up doing is basically abandoning this hole, and rather than deal with patching drywall, you can get just a little plastic cover that'll screw right into this, and you still have access to this if you ever need to. You can just unscrew it. So those are only a couple dollars too. It's faster, quicker, easier, cheaper than dealing with patching drywall, in my opinion, of course. What I'm going to have to do is probably pull this wire back that way, and so that I can kind of have it branch off and go the different directions that I need it to, and then we'll go from there. Turn this music down. I'm going to get a copyright infringement because I got David Gray playing in the background. Well, the bad news is I'm not going to be able to pull this back, I don't think, because they did tack that up to the framing before they put the drywall on. There's a couple of tacks that way. But what I can do is just disconnect it here. There's a junction box right here, which is handy. I can just remove the wire that goes that way, abandon it, run my new wires, I'm good to go. Okay, so you can see I have the locations marked on the ceiling where I'm going to cut the holes for the can lights. Now keep in mind, when you're doing this, when you're marking your locations on the ceiling like this, you might not be able to go with your ideal location because you have to remember there's framing members in here that you have to avoid. What I have here is I have my joists marked. Originally I wanted the hole over here just a little bit more, so they were a little bit more evenly distributed through the room. But I had to make that adjustment here and move them in just a little bit. So easiest way to do that is just, find your approximate location that you'd like them to be and just grab a stud sensor. Then you can kind of mark those out and adjust your locations accordingly. And so once you have your locations marked, then you have to cut the hole, obviously. Now most lights, these lights included in the instruction manual, should come with some sort of a template you can trace around, show you exactly the size hole that you need, and show you what I'm talking about here. Looks like this right here. Okay, just trace around that, or you could maybe even tape it to the ceiling and just cut around it with a jab saw. But you know what? This is what I think about their template. We don't need no stinking templates. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this without that. I'm going to use this right here. Now this is a special drill bit designed to cut holes in drywall, and hopefully you can see that there's these adjustable rods. You can move it in and out for the size hole that you need, and it has these little blades guided by a drill bit. It kind of functions similar to a hole saw, and it has this plastic pan to catch all the debris. Just set it to the size you need and drill. So rather than tell you about it, I think I'll just show you how it works. And now, for the moment we've all been waiting for. Hit it! Ta-da! And wow, what a difference. It used to be kind of dark and dreary and maybe even a little creepy and scary down here. But now it's bright, it's cheery, and it even feels bigger down here. I know it's not because it's still the low ceilings, but somehow it just feels bigger. And as you can see, I still have a little bit of work left down here to finish this remodeling project, but the lighting has had a huge impact on this space down here. Bigger impact than anything else I have planned for this remodeling project for sure. If you like this video, let me know. Hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment, or if you hated the video, you can let me know that too. You can put your disgust down in the comments below. And while you're down there, you might as well just click the subscribe button and ring the little blue notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. Well, that's it. I'll see you on the next one.